Founded on the 28th of August 2013, Trik are a four-piece hard rock band based in Glasgow, Scotland. Consisting of lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist David, lead guitarist Alec, bassist Sean and drummer Jake, the band are clearly quite heavily influenced by other groups, such as Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses and Audioslave. We got up with them to discuss their thoughts and opinions on the current state of the rock music industry. Alec,
Yes.
when is it the right time of your career to start approaching labels and management? Have you had any prior experience of either of those?
I think the best time to do that is when you've kind of built up a fan base, and so once you've built up a fan base, you've got to have recorded music so that people can hear it, and you've got to just approach it properly. You've got to make sure you have to do the right amount of research so that when you go into asking people about these type of things, that you're not going to get, I don't know, like scammed in any way, because you get a lot of like bad people out to like out to just try to get a cut of the royalties from the it's bad. We kind of had a little run-in with that when we were like sending away. Trik was like sending away for like different record companies and stuff and management, and we came across one. I mean, it seemed like good from the outside, but then once we actually got in touch and we saw how it all worked and all that, it was like they had like a set of rules for like every artist. So that's kind of like what Simon Cowell does, the X Factor, and it's not fun.
Sean.
Hi.
Hi. Obviously, with the reunion of Guns N' Roses, Coachella tickets are already sold out and are going for incredibly high prices. How do you feel about concert tickets being sold for more than double their face value?
As it's completely subjective, really. It depends on like the band and the festival. For example, like talking about Guns N' Roses, it's their original lineup that are coming back. I believe. I think it was in the news at some point. So people are automatically going to assume, oh, I need to go see this concert because the original lineup, I might never get a chance to see them again. So it depends on the band, really. It's like, yeah, it's completely subjective.
David, do you think that with the rise of social media, YouTube in particular, the traditional way of becoming recognised via playing small local venues is dying? Or, the opposite, do these sites make it easier to become discovered?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think, especially with YouTube and Facebook and all that, it's a lot easier to make your band seem professional, or like your music seem professional. Like, you can get a music video that looks incredible, just like with not that much money now, which is really good. It was a lot harder back in the day, obviously, because there was less ways to do that. I think especially like the fact that the platforms that you get now, like YouTube and Facebook and all that, all the massive bands and artists are on. So it's kind of like you can put your music out there at the same level as they can, almost. Like, obviously they have like pluggers and stuff to put their stuff out there better, but the fact that you can go onto YouTube, put up a music video, and have that on the same platform as like, I don't know, AC/DC or like Justin Bieber or somebody, like, you know what I mean? That's an incredible thing. I do think, however, there's the opposite end of the spectrum where, like, not for artists particularly, but I think for the people who aren't artists, the internet's hurt music because there's less of a local scene now. I think like a lot of people just, because there's so much more access to music now. Like, people can put out music as much as they want, and that's a great thing for artists. But at the same time, a lot of the music that gets put out there, people aren't a big fan of, like, just because it's a band starting up or whatever. It's a lot more music out there now, but it's not as filtered, if you know what I mean, because obviously anyone can put their music up there and that's great, but a lot of people may not like it. So because people are being exposed to a lot of these bands that not everyone's a great fan of, like, people kind of care about music less, I find. Like, a lot of people will just be like, oh, it's just a local band, I don't really want to go, you know what I mean, I'm busy, I've got work the next day or something, like that kind of thing, and they'll be like, nah, I'll pass on it. Whereas like if a big massive band comes over, they're like, oh, I'm definitely going to go to that because they're great. So it's kind of a shame that people see local music as something that's not that great anymore, just because of, I think, partially because they're exposed to it so much through social media. But all in all, I still think it's a great thing because people can get their music out there as much as they want, and I think like it does help definitely for exposure and help make your brand look professional, I guess.
Jake, has the recent passing of several incredibly influential musicians affected you as a band or personally? do you think that, if anything, it's brought the community together?
I definitely think it's brought the community together. In terms of us as a band, it's not been, it's not made a huge difference because we all come from very different musical backgrounds, although we did consider covering a Bowie song at one point. But personally, yeah, it's particularly Bowie. It's like he was a very big influence for me in terms of my own music outside of Magic Trick. But it's been interesting because, these are people that have had such a huge impact, but not a lot of people. No, lots of people nowadays won't really know them that well, and it's interesting seeing people kind of discovering these people, for horrible reasons, but discovering this great music, and it's been interesting. Yeah.
With the stereotypical image of rock musicians, have you ever felt pressure to partake in a certain lifestyle revolving around drugs and alcohol?
Not really. Not like in this day and age. I think not really. Yeah. No. Like in the past, I think that now we can learn from people's mistakes. Like I recently watched the most recent Guns N' Roses documentary, and it goes through the kind of excessive lifestyle that they led, and it was just awful. So it's I think now we need to take it upon ourselves and not do any of that. I think people respect you more as well. If you just stay clean and just completely focus on the music anyway. So I think it's a good thing. Yes.
Well, music is an incredible way of bringing people together. Do you think that because of this motive, music is an effective way of getting charity recognition?
Hands down, yeah. Talking about charity and stuff like that, you've got the likes of Band Aid and Live Aid and stuff like that who are massive in the charity thing. But I just like that music brings people together in that way as well. They can all be oh, let's band together and help this group of people, or band together and help this charity kind of thing. And I love it. That's why I'm in music.
Seeing as it's not uncommon for equipment to be stolen, hotels being too expensive to stay in, being forced to spend hours and hours with one another whilst on the road, have you ever had any particularly bad tour experiences?
I mean, we've only been on one tour so far, and in general it went pretty well. So there was no. We know stories friends of ours that have been in bands that have had their vans broken into and had things stolen. And we've been lucky so far. It was the biggest band fear, and no, we've been lucky so far in terms of that stuff. We've not had any particularly bad experiences. There was one time where I think I can't remember what happened now. There's so much happened on that tour, but there was an issue with the door of the van and we couldn't get it open and things like that. And that's kind of the worst we've had, to be honest. Yeah, that's it.
Do you have any advice for female musicians who want to make a serious start in the music industry? Or do you feel that there's a gender barrier getting in the way of them sharing the same experiences as males do?
I think definitely at the high end of the sort of industry, when you get into pop artists and stuff, I think there's definitely a huge kind of pressure on them to be a certain way. They all kind of have to be the skinny white girl, if you know what I mean. Which is a real shame because that's a minority. Yeah. Definitely. And the fact that the media push that thing, it gets to the point with the pop industry though that it's not even really the music. It's it's not even the music industry as such. It's the fashion industry, and all of those people are pushing out this idealistic kind of way of the way people should be or whatever. But it's just, and the music industry has taken that and went, hey, let's have all of our female artists like this, which is ridiculous and stupid, and it shouldn't be that way because it's not how everyone is. But I do think, however, on the smaller scale, which is another reason that local music is such a great thing, people don't really care about that as much at all. You can be a girl in a band and go play a great show, and people will be like, "That's a great show, well done, you guys are awesome," kind of thing. It doesn't really make too much of a difference there. But obviously there is still that because again with the internet, a lot of the internet's not great. No. If you put up a video and you're female, you're going to get a lot more hate than you would if you're male, just because apparently the internet doesn't like girls. I don't know, but people are much more people are more obliged for some reason, I don't know why, in their head to comment on their appearance and stuff. A lot of the thing is there's no acceptable kind of norm for people if people just find things to talk about to just insult people or whatever. It's not even insults a lot of the time. They don't intentionally a lot of people that watch videos of female artists and stuff, if they fit their stereotype of what is attractive, then they'll be really creepy and like post really creepy comments and stuff that are really not needed. But if they don't, however, they're just going to insult them. So that's a bit horrible. But I think all in all, the local scene's a lot better than the big like industry. But even then, because of the fact that the two are so close now because of the internet and stuff, they've kind of been pushed together a little bit. So like on the internet, it's a lot worse than it is in actual real life at a gig or whatever. But yeah, I just think a lot of that stuff isn't needed, and it really, really sucks and does definitely need to be dealt with.